In the story of Moses, how many plagues did God send to Egypt? A, he didn't send any plagues to Egypt. B, he sent 2 plagues to Egypt. C, he sent 5 plagues to Egypt. Or D, he sent 10 plagues to Egypt. So A, B, C, or D. How many plagues did God send to Egypt in the story of Moses? The answer is 10 plagues. He sent 10 plagues to Egypt. Okay, fantastic. Question number 2. Which of these was not a plague sent to Egypt by God? So he sent 10 plagues. Here are some of them, but one of these was not a plague sent to Egypt by God in the story of Moses. So A, a swarm of locusts. B, the rivers and waters turning into blood. C, frogs rained down from the sky. Or D, the sun burned brightly. So which of these was not a plague sent to Egypt by God? Making your guess. The answer is D, the sun burned brightly. This was not a plague sent by the God to Egypt. There was a swarm of locusts, the rivers and waters did turn to blood, and frogs did rain from the sky. Well done. Question number 3. How did Moses and the Israelites escape from the Pharaoh in the story of Moses? How did Moses and the Israelites escape from the Pharaoh? A, Moses used his staff and parted the Red Sea. B, they hid by the Nile. C, they hid in the pyramids. D, Moses used his staff to knock the Pharaoh off his chariot. So how did Moses and the Israelites escape the Pharaoh? A, B, C, or D? Making your choice now. The answer is A, Moses used his staff and he parted the Red Sea. Remember, he was leading them and he got to the sea and the Pharaoh was chasing them, but he used his staff and parted the sea so that they could escape and the Pharaoh could not catch them. Question number 4. Okay, so this is looking at some of our previous RE Day on Christianity. I would like to know when a Christingle service is held. So when do we normally have a Christingle service? Is it A, Easter Sunday, B, Christmas Day, C, Shrove Tuesday, or D, the last Sunday before Christmas? What day do we normally have a Christingle? A, B, C, or D? Making your guess now. The answer is D, the last Sunday before Christmas. We might have got a bit confused with B there. So it is around Christmas time, but we don't have a Christingle service on Christmas Day itself. It's always the last Sunday before Christmas Day. Fantastic. Question number 5. Here we go. What is a Christingle made of? So remembering what the Christingle looked like here. A Christingle is A, made of an orange, red ribbon, 4 sticks, candle, and fruit or sweets. Is it B, an apple, red ribbon, 4 sticks, candle, fruit or sweets? C, an orange, blue ribbon, 4 sticks, candles, and fruit or sweets? Or D, an orange, red ribbon, 1 stick, candle, fruit or sweet? Okay, which one is it? There's a small change in all of them, but one of them is right. Is it A, B, C, or D? Making your choice now. The answer is A, because it is an orange, a red ribbon, 4 sticks, a candle, fruit or sweets. The red ribbon is always red, it's always an orange, and there is always 4 sticks. Well done. Question number 6. What does the candle on the Christingle represent? So there's always a candle on the Christingle. What does it represent? A, nothing. B, it's there so that it's not dark. C, it represents God. D, it represents Jesus, the light of the world. So what does the candle on the Christingle represent? A, B, C, or D? Making your choice now. And the answer is D. Well done. So it represents Jesus Christ, the light of the world, and that is why it is a candle. So it definitely represents something. It doesn't represent God. It represents Jesus, the light of the world. Well done, everyone. Good morning or afternoon, Year 1, and today with me you're going to be learning all about the celebration of Hanukkah, and we're going to be finding out about what Hanukkah is and how it's celebrated, and learning to play a little game that they like to play at Hanukkah. So let's find out all about Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the Jewish festival of lights, and the word Hanukkah means dedication in Hebrew. It is a festival that is celebrated in November or December every year, and it lasts for around 8 days. The time and the date changes every year, but usually it will be near the end of November, okay? And it celebrates a miracle that happened in Jerusalem over 2,000 years ago. So let's find out what that was.
Judaism, the religion of Jewish people. Solomon and his family are Jewish. They live in Manchester. Solomon and his sister Eliza go to synagogue every Saturday with their parents. The synagogue is a place where Jewish people go to worship. A rabbi leads the service. After the prayers, Solomon and Eliza talk to their rabbi, Rabbi Sidney. Mummy said I should ask you why we celebrate Hanukkah, said Solomon. What a good idea, said Rabbi Sidney. Why don't you both sit down? How many days does Hanukkah go on for? Asked the rabbi. 8 days, said Eliza. Right, said Rabbi Sidney. And what do you do each night? We light a candle, said Solomon. On a special candle holder, said Eliza. And do you know what the candle holder is called? Asked Rabbi Sidney. The menorah, said Solomon. Well, the actual name for it is the Hanukkah, as it has 9 candle holders on it. But most people call it the menorah, said Rabbi Sidney. Now I can tell you the story of it. The Jewish story of Hanukkah. About 2,200 years ago, the Greeks marched into the Jewish people's promised land, where the Jewish people lived, to take over the land and its people. One of the Greek kings was called Antiochus. Antiochus decided that all Jewish people should worship Greek gods. Jewish worship and reading the Torah, the Jewish holy book, was banned. After invading, Antiochus and his army attacked the temple in Jerusalem, which was a very important place for the Jewish people. They killed many people and stole lots of holy objects, including the sacred lamp, which had always burned brightly every day and every night. The sacred lamp went out, and the Greeks threw away all the special oil that was used to keep the lamp burning. The Jewish people were really upset and angry about this, and they didn't know what to do. But there was a brave family called the Maccabees who decided to fight against King Antiochus. The name Maccabee means hammer. Judah Maccabee led his brothers in many battles against the mighty Greeks. They wanted their freedom to worship how they had always done. The Greeks had many more soldiers and even rode on elephants, but this didn't stop the Maccabees. Amazingly, they beat the Greek army and marched back into Jerusalem. They were the winners. They cleaned up the temple and put a new sacred lamp back on the altar. But when they tried to relight it, they realized the Greeks had thrown away all of the special oil that was needed to keep the flame burning. After searching high and low, they found one last small bottle of oil that the Greeks had not thrown away. But this would only keep the lamp burning for 1 day, and it would take 8 days to make new oil. The brothers lit the sacred lamp with the last remaining bottle of oil. By a miracle, the lamp burned for 8 days, and every day the flames grew brighter and brighter. Every year since then, Jewish people have celebrated their festival of lights, Hanukkah. They retell the story of the Maccabees, give gifts, eat special food, and play games. And as they light the menorah each night, they celebrate God's glory and give thanks for the miracle in the temple long ago.
So that is the story of Hanukkah. So let's see how well we were listening. So what does King Antiochus say the Jewish people must do? What did the King Antiochus say the Jewish people must do? You have 3 options here. Do you think he A, would say that the Jewish people must worship the Greek gods? Or did B, King Antiochus, say the Jewish people must keep the reading from the Torah? Or did he C, tell them not to do anything? Did he A, tell them that they must worship the Greek gods, B, tell them to read from the Torah, or C, not tell them anything? You're going to put me on pause and decide which it is. Is it A, B, or C? What do you think it is? Well done, it is A. He told the Jewish people that they must not worship the Greek gods. They weren't very happy about this. How would this make you feel if you were told you weren't allowed to do something that you've always done? I want you to think about that. How would it make you feel if someone was telling you that what you believed wasn't right and that you had to believe something else? You wouldn't feel happy about it? Absolutely. It wouldn't be very kind, and it's certainly not respectful to tell us that what we believe is wrong, because we all believe different things. So was King Antiochus in the right or the wrong? He was in the wrong, absolutely. Right, next question. What is the miracle that occurs in the temple? A, there is no miracle. B, the miracle is that 1 bottle of oil lasts for 8 days and there was only enough for 1. Or C, the miracle is that 1 bottle of oil lasts for 4 days when there was only enough for 1. Is it A, B, or C? What do we think? A, B, or C? Putting me on pause and make a choice. What do you think? Well done, it is B. There was a miracle, and it was that the oil lasted for 8 days. Well done, everyone. You were paying attention to the story. So Hanukkah is celebrated by several different ways, and the video told us some of the ways. So we're going to have a look at some of those now. Hanukkah is celebrated by lighting 1 candle on a 9-stemmed candelabrum called a menorah. Can you say menorah? And again, menorah. And this symbolises how God looked after the Jewish people during a different time. And I've got a menorah here to show you today. So this is a menorah, and it is a 9-stemmed candle holder. Okay, and each day of Hanukkah, they light one of these. Okay, now the middle one here is always burning, and every day for the 8 days, they burn another stem. And by the end of Hanukkah, the whole thing will be lit. Now, Miss Bamford's not going to do that today, okay? But this is a menorah. Can you say menorah? Fantastic. And this is something that will be in every household that is celebrating Hanukkah. It is very special to them, and they always light it during this time. So that is the menorah. Can you say it one more time? Fantastic. So Hanukkah is celebrated by lighting the menorah, but it's also celebrated by other things. For example, is it going to move my PowerPoint? Let's see, hold on. It's also celebrated by giving gifts. Okay, now quite often the children receive gifts at Hanukkah. It's a very special time, and the Jewish people often give gifts to one another, and sometimes they give money called gelt. Can you say gelt? So some families give a small present to the children, and they give a present on each of the nights of Hanukkah. So they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gifts across Hanukkah. And these gifts can vary. That depends on the family. But lots of people like to give some gelt as well. Can you say gelt? Fantastic. So we know that they light the menorah and they give gifts. But they also like to play a game. And this game is called the dreidel game, okay? They play lots of games at Hanukkah, but the most common one is where you spin something called a dreidel, which is a spinning top with 4 sides. The 4 sides of the dreidel represent different Hebrew letters. And altogether, it stands for a great miracle happened here, which is bringing us back to the story of Hanukkah and the miracle of the oil lasting for 8 days when it was only supposed to last for 1. So this is a very special game, and sometimes they like to sing a song, and I've got some people here to sing the song for you. Let's have a listen.
Little dreidel, I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play. Oh dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play. I have a little dreidel, I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play. Oh dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play.
Isn't that a really cool song? So when you play the dreidel game, you can sing that song, okay? And the dreidel game has money in the middle. And often you play it with at least 4 players, but sometimes 2. And I'm going to be teaching you a little bit later exactly how to play the game. It's a really fun game where you spin the dreidel and then you get to take some money from the pile. The winner of the dreidel game is the person who has the most money at the end. However, if you end up with no money, you do not win the game. But it's all a bit of fun, and it's all in spirit of celebrating Hanukkah. So, should we have a listen to the song one more time? It's such a good song. Here we go.
And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play. Oh dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play. I have a little dreidel, I made it out of clay. When it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play. Oh dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play.
So that is the dreidel. So to celebrate Hanukkah, they light the menorah, they give gifts, sometimes giving a gift called gelt, and they play the dreidel game. Now they also like to celebrate with food. Everyone likes a party and they love food. Okay, Ms. Bamford especially likes eating food at a party, and at Hanukkah you get to eat lots of delicious foods, and some of these foods are very special indeed. So they like to have something called a potato fritter called a latkes, and this is especially important because it is made with oil. They like to fry things like pancakes and donuts. Now, why are they frying things and celebrating fried food? Well, because of the oil and the special oil that was the miracle that lasted 8 days. And when they make them, they remember the oil that lasted these 8 days in the temple. And it's another way for them to celebrate that special miracle. And they get to eat lots of delicious things. The pancakes and donuts, I know, go down especially well. So Let's see what we can remember about celebrating Hanukkah. So what food could you eat to celebrate Hanukkah? A, any food you want. B, lots of vegetables. Or C, food fried in oil, like donuts, pancakes. What do you think? You're going to put me on pause and have a think. What do you think? Well done, it is C. They like to eat food that's been fried in oils because it is celebrating the miracle that happened with the oil. So I want you to think about if you would like eating this food to celebrate Hanukkah, or if you would not. What I want you to do is tell your families if you would enjoy eating Hanukkah food. You can put me on pause or you can do it at the end of the video, but what would you enjoy about eating the Hanukkah food or not? Next question. What do we remember about Hanukkah? Well, can you remember the name of the candle holder that's lit? A, it doesn't have a name. B, it's called a menorah. C, it's called a candle holder. A, B, or C? What do we think? A, it has no name. B, it's called a menorah. C, it's called a candle holder. Putting me on pause and making your choice. Well done, B, it is called a menorah. Very good, very special indeed. So you are going to, for your activity today, you're going to learn to play the dreidel game. You're going to get to try and make a dreidel, and you're going to have a go playing the dreidel game with your family. And here is how you do it. Now, to play the dreidel game, you should have already made your dreidel. Okay, this is my dreidel here. And what you're going to do is you're going to play this game with either 2 players, or you can play with as many players as you have in your family. Now, that could be up to 4, 5, however many family members, but you need definitely 2 players to play this game. You only need 1 dreidel, okay? To play the game, you need to make sure that you have some coins, okay? Or something that could pretend to be coins, okay? And you need 10 pieces each. So Miss Bamford's going to play, and she's going to be playing with the monster today. Okay, now the monster's going to have 10 pieces and I'm going to have 10 pieces. And this is how you play the dreidel game. So what you do is you have your dreidel. Here's Miss Bamford's 10 pieces. Here's my monster. And he has 10 pieces. Now I'm going to explain what happens with the dreidel game, because what happens is you spin the dreidel and it will land on one of the sides. This is Gimel. If the dreidel lands on Gimel, anything that's in the middle of the pile, you get to take. So you start putting money in the pile. But if it ever lands on Gimel, you take everything that's in the pile and it becomes part of your pile. If we spin the dreidel and it lands on Nun, nothing happens. So if I'm playing with Mr. Monster and he spins Nun, nobody's going to be taking any money from the middle. If I spin the dreidel and it lands on Shin, I have to put some money into the middle. And if Mr. Monster spins the dreidel and it lands on Shin, he has to put some in the middle. I'm going to spin the dreidel again. And it's landed on Shin, which means I put some more in the middle. I only put in 1. And Mr. Monster's going to spin the dreidel. And this time he spins on Shin again, which means he has to put 1 in. The last one, if you spin and you land on Hey, you get to take half. Well, we've got 4 coins, which means I get to take half of those coins for me. Okay, so if I had some coins in the middle and so did Mr. Monster, I'm going to spin and see what happens. I've spun and I've landed on Gimel, which means I would get to take everything. These all would become my coins. So who's winning then? I have all of the coins here and Mr. Monster has 4, which would mean I would be winning. If I spun the dreidel and then I landed on none, nothing would happen. Now Mr. Monster's going to spin the dreidel. He lands on Gimel, which means he gets to take everything. Okay. I'm going to spin the dreidel. Gimel, which means I would get to take everything this time. Okay. If it landed on Shin, I would have to put some money in. If for Mr. Monster he got Hey, then he has to take half. Now there's a lot more coins this time, so you have to make sure that he gets half. So he would have to have all of those coins, and it only leaves a small pot in the middle. So each time the pot gets bigger. Now to start the game, you have to put a piece in the middle. So I'm putting a piece in the middle and Mr. Monster's going to put a piece in the middle. You take it in turns. The youngest player goes first, which means Mr. Monster gets to go first. Are you ready, Mr. Monster? Okay, so I'm helping him spin. He's got Gimel, which means he takes everything. Now we keep playing even though there's nothing in the middle, because you stop playing when you run out of money. Now it's my turn. Shin, which means I need to put some in. Mr. Monster's going to have his go. None, which means nothing happens. None for me, nothing happens. Hey, take half. Can he take half? No, he can't take half this time because there's not enough in there. Okay. Gimel, I get to take everything. All right. What you're going to do for your game this time is put some more coins in. So I think I'm going to win this time. So I'm going to put in lots of coins. Mr. Monster's going to put in lots of coins. Okay, we've put lots more in this time. Let's see what happens. Is Mr. Monster going to win or am I going to win? Let's see. Mr. Monster gets to go first because he's the youngest player. Okay. It's on Hey, which means he gets half. Oh dear. There we go. Mr. Monster's had half now. Ow. My go. None. Nothing happens. Mr. Monster's go. None again. Nothing happens. Okay. My go. Shin, which means I need to put some more money in the pot. Oh dear. Who's winning? Mr. Monster. All right, Mr. Monster, your go. Hey, he gets to take half again. Oh my goodness, there's going to be no money left. Okay, now we can't do half, so he gets 3 and we leave 4 in the pot. Okay, what's going to happen this time? None for Miss Banfield. Nothing's going to happen. Mr. Monster, your go. Shin, Mr. Monster has to put some in, so he's putting 1 in. Miss Banfield's go. Shin, I have to put 1 in. Now, Miss Banfield's only got 2. Who's still winning? Mr. Monster. Now, the person to run out of coins first does not win. Hey, for Mr. Monster. He gets to take half. 1, 2, again. He's got 3, there's only 3 left in the pot. Okay, let's see, it's Miss Banfield's go. Shin, I have to put 1 in. Oh no. Mr. Monster's go. Hey, he gets to take half. All right, Miss Banfield's go. Gimel! I get to take everything that's in the middle. See? Okay, Mr. Monster's go. None. Nothing happens, I'm afraid, Mr. Monster. My go. Shin, I have to put 1 in. Mr. Monster's go. Hey, he gets to take half. Well, there isn't half, so he doesn't get to take any this time. Hey, for me, I don't get to take half. Mr. Monster's go. Gimel, he gets to take everything. Now there's no money in the pot, which means we both have to put some money in, which leaves Miss Banfield with only 1. Oh no. Now, it's Miss Banfield's go. It's landed on Shin, which means I have to put 1 in. Miss Banfield has no money. Mr. Monster is the winner. So that is the dreidel game. and you can play it with up 2 players or more players. Remember, you need to have 10 coins to start off with and use the printouts to help you remember some of the rules of the game. Okay, Gimel, you take everything. None, you do nothing. Shin, you put some in, and Hey, you take half. I hope you have fun playing the dreidel game with your family. Remember, if you want to colour in your dreidel, you absolutely can, and have fun playing the dreidel game.